Hi, my name is Nicole, and this is the CK Diary Podcast. Today is Wednesday, February 28th, and it is 1 p.m., and I have sat down to start telling you about all of my whips from this week. I haven't really finished anything. I don't really have any finished objects today. I did finish the sock that I was working on last week, but I haven't finished the pair yet. And then I finished a couple of closed granny squares. So I'll go ahead and show you those first. So this is my finished sock. It turned out so cute. The yarn is Petroglyph National Monument by Knitted Wit. And then the pattern is Vanilla Sock Pattern on Magic Loop by Crazy Sock Lady. I really love how it turned out. And right now I am almost done with the other one. I have finished the heel flap, or I haven't finished the heel flap. I'm 20 rows into the heel flap. I have to do 32. So I'm almost done with that. This weekend, or March 2nd through March 9th, I believe, is the Orange Blossom Yarn Crawl, which is a yarn crawl in Central Florida. And I'd really like to have these done before then so I can wear them while I am shopping. All right, let's see. The other thing, I think I talked about this bag last podcast maybe. If I didn't, this is from Creek Gardens Crafts, I think. I'll link them down below. They had this bag for sale and I really wanted it, but I was like, no, I always want new bags. I'm not gonna get that bag. But then the next day I really regretted it. And I was like, you know what? I could use that bag for the boys' traveling blanket because we go to the mountains a lot and there's mountains and trees and like a little cabin on there, all kinds of cute stuff. And I thought this would be the perfect bag for their traveling blanket. And then I went on the next day to go purchase it and it was gone. Well, then a couple weeks later, it came in our mail and I found out my husband snagged the last one. I had sent him the link and told him that it was cute, and he bought it for me as a surprise. All right, so these are the squares that I have done for our travel blankets. So each little stack, this is for one son, this is for the other son, and this is for me and my husband. So this week for squares, I got all of these blue ones done. Let me see really quick. I put the brand and colorway names in here today. All right, so this one is from Blue Sky Fibers. It is their 100% fine Highland wool. Woolstock worsted. It is a worsted weight, and the colorway is 1305 October Sky. Ooh. But I will link that down. Sorry, I'm looking over here to see if it's focusing, but I don't have my glasses on. Okay. This is a mini hank that I got on a little, I got a little mini skein bundle from the Craftivist in Atlanta for Blue Sky Fibers. I can probably link that down below too. It was a very cute bundle. All right. And then for the other color, I have only got 1.5 squares done in this colorway. This is beautiful. It might be my favorite one so far. So this is from Hand Dyed Diva. They are a yarn dyer in North Carolina, I believe. Let's see. I got this from Maggie Valley Yarn Shop in Maggie Valley, North Carolina. It doesn't say where they're at. I'm pretty sure they dye out of North Carolina though. This is their homegrown DK and the colorway name is Soul Mate, S-O-L-E, Mate. Very pretty. And I've only got 1.5 squares. Ooh, let me go ahead and put this back in my pile. 1.5 squares of that done. So in total this week, I got 4.5 squares done. I know my goal was to get 7 done, but this week I had like whippinitis, whatever you would call it. I had so many whips that I was working on this week and I couldn't put them down. So I was just like switching from project to project to project. I would do like 15 or 20 minutes on one, 15 on 20 or 20 minutes on the next. And it was really fun. I really enjoyed that. Typically I don't. Usually I like just getting a project done, but this week I really enjoyed that. All right. So that was my two kind of finished objects. I finished a sock and finished some squares. My next thing that I will talk about, let me see. Okay, so I made a blanket for my youngest son. I showed that to you guys a while ago. I have been wanting to make both of my son's blankets, but my oldest son has asked for a lot of stuffed animals and little things. So I've made all of those for him. So I wanted to make something for my youngest son because he's a little too young to ask for anything. And I wanted to have something that I made for him. So I made him a blanket. Well, now that he has a blanket, my oldest son wants a blanket. So I let him pick out some yarn. Let me see, the other yarn cords right here. So he wanted these colors. These two are also colors from that mini skein bundle that I talked about. I'll link the whole mini skein bundle down below, but I'll also link the colorway names. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember what the light green one is called. It might be Time, but I'll have that all linked down below. Let me move that white piece of yarn. I believe the light green one's called Time, and the dark green one, oh no, the dark green one is Wild Time. Okay. Yeah, so I don't remember what the light green one's called, but I will post that down below. And then this one, this one's also from Blue Sky Fibers. Oh, no. This one's Baracco. I have that one right here. Okay. Nope. This is where I keep all of my tags. I keep it in this little bag here. All right. This is from Baracco. It is the Ultra Alpaca. And it is just their natural, it's a natural color. It doesn't even have a colorway name that I can find on here. Oh, 6201. It is 50% superfine alpaca and 50% Peruvian wool. And it is so super soft. So soft. And the other color that he picked out for now, these are just the colors that I have picked out for now. I made my youngest son a really small blanket, like a little security blanket, because he was wanting to carry it around with him. So I just made his really small, but my oldest son wants like a baby blanket size that he can keep on his bed. This one is 85% wool, 10% silk, and 5% cashmere. I have not worked it up yet. Obviously, it's still in the hank, but just from holding it in the hank, it is probably one of the softest yarns I've ever held. It is super, super soft. It is Queensland Collection, Kathmandu. I don't know if that's correct. It's probably not. It is a worsted or a medium weight. Let's see. Oh, it's made in Italy. Very cool. Yes, I got it from Loopville in Tennessee, in Knoxville. Very soft, very lovely. Okay, let's see, what else do I have to talk about? I did some work on my granny triangle wrap this week. So this is where I'm at. It is just a granny triangle. And I say granny triangle wrap, but I'm not wanting to make it like a shawl size. I'm wanting to make it like a blanket size so I can wear it at the house. I'd also like it to be on my chair in here once it's big enough. The color that I finished this past week, I showed you a few weeks ago on the podcast when I had started it, but I didn't finish it until a couple of days ago. This is the Pink Lady Slipper by Copper Corgi. It's a fingering weight. And then this darker color that I have here, this is also from Loopville in Knoxville, Tennessee. It is called Unicorn Tails. It is 100% superwash merino, and the colorway is Fatal Attraction. All right. And on to my last whip for the week. I feel like I didn't get a whole lot of any one single project done, but I feel like I got a lot done. And I enjoyed the process of this week. Like I said, I really want to finish those socks by Saturday. But other than that, with the schedule I have for my temperature blanket, which I'm about to show you, I talked last week about how I needed to do 2 rows a day to be done by the end of April. And I actually got a little bit ahead of schedule for a couple of days, and then I started falling a little bit behind. I think I'm completely caught up now on where I wanted to be. I wanted to have 2 rows done a day, and today's day 7, and I got 14 done, so that's 2 rows a day. So I'm back caught up, and that has made me feel a lot less stressed about this project. I'm not gonna show you the whole thing because I stood up and did that last week, but this was where I was at last week, where this progress keeper is, and that is where I'm at now. I finished August, and this tan color, that's my break in between months. So you can see I finished August and I started September. I'm very happy with how it's coming along. It is stressing me out much less just doing 2 rows a day, or, you know, getting at least 14 done a week. My plan was, if I can't get to, like, if we're out of town, or if we go out to eat one night and I decide not to work on this and I bring something small, because I used to bring this in the car with me, but I just can't do it anymore. Even on long trips, I'm not going to be able to bring this in the car with me anymore. This is already a blanket. Like, it's just huge. It's already a blanket. It covers me. It is covering my toes right now, and it's up to here. So it's way too big to bring in the car. So I'm only going to be able to work on this at home. So if we go out of town, or if we go out to dinner or anything like that, I'm not going to stress out about doing my 2 rows for that day. My goal is just to get 14 done for the week. So if I want to sit down one night and watch a movie with my husband and knock out a few rows, it takes me about 18 minutes to do a row. So during the course of a 2-hour movie, I can get 6 rows done. If I want to sit down and do something like that and knock out a ton of rows at one time, I can. All right, that is all of my whips. Oh, no, it's not. I had one more thing to show you. So I found a tank top. It is called the Classic Camisole by Darling Jador on Ravelry. My test swatch is sad. I only did half of it. But the half that I did met gauge for half of their gauge swatch, so I think it worked out well. The only problem is that my cast on row matches gauge, but my bind off row is really, really tight. I looked up, I believe it's called Jenny's Stretchy Bind Off. I looked that up to see how it's done after I did this. This is just like a normal knitted bind off, and it's so tight. And I mean, look at the difference. It's just so tight. So I'm gonna try the Jenny's super stretchy bind off. I think that's what it's called, something like that. And hopefully that will help me, because I had a really light hand with this. I was not making my stitches tight, and it still turned out like this. But I found my tank top. I kind of did my gauge swatch. It says on the pattern that gauge doesn't really matter for it, because it's made to be oversized. And then I'm doing a size larger than what I would normally wear, because I want it to be something you can see the way that it's made. You're using a fingering weight yarn with a larger needle. I believe the pattern called for 3.25 and I use 3.5. So it's going to be see-through. I mean, you're going to be able to see through it. So I want it to be something I can wear over another camisole or over like a bandeau, and then something I can wear under a jacket. So I'm not wanting it to be really fitted. I'm wanting it to be loose and comfy and something I can wear all summer. And maybe do layers and wear it in the fall too, because fall in Florida is hot. So it'll work out. All right, so goals for this week. I want to finish that sock before Saturday. Sorry, I know I've talked about this before. I record the podcast on my son's naps, and I thought I heard one of them crying, but I think it was just the wind. So I just stopped to check the monitor really quick. Okay, so I was saying I wanted to finish the socks before Saturday, and I think I'm well on my way. If I really put my mind to it, I could probably finish them tonight, but I'll probably end up finishing those tomorrow. Let's see, I want to get my square day done for my son's traveling blankets, because if I do that, I won't even need to get a square day done, because I've got a square and a half left that I need to do with the hand-dyed diva yarn. They actually just changed their name. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't remember what they changed it to. I think it was like last week they rebranded. So I'll leave that down below so you can find them. But I need to get a square and a half done of that. And then let me grab the other yarn I want to use for the blanket. This is the other yarn that I'm using for their blanket. And this is the last skein that I have to get caught up. Now, when we go on Saturday, we go to Orlando a lot. We have Disney passes and we take our boys to Disney. I shouldn't say a lot, but we take them every now and then. And so I got a skein from She Sells Yarn from Daytona to make up for past Daytona trips that we've taken that I never purchased yarn for. She Sells Yarn is in Ormond Beach, but it's very close to Daytona. And then for the Orange Blossom Yarn Crawl, there's a few of the shops from the Yarn Crawl are in Orlando or near Orlando. So I'm going to purchase a skein of yarn from there to cover all of the Orlando trips that we've taken. So this, and then whatever yarn I get on Saturday is going to be, like, that'll be it. I'll be caught up. So if I can do, let's see, today's Wednesday. So if I can finish Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Okay, yeah. So if I do one square a day and finish that half square, I will be all caught up, including the skein that I get on Saturday. I will be all caught up in the boys' blankets, and I won't have anything else to do on those until we go travel somewhere new. All right, let's see. I want to start putting a plan in place for my tank top. This is the yarn I'm using for it. It is Malabrigo Sock in the colorway Aladdin. I bought this. This was the first, I believe this is the first wool yarn I've ever purchased. I bought it for another shirt project. It was going to be a crocheted shirt. This was before I started knitting. And I started working it up, and I didn't like the way that the drape was on it. And that's actually part of the reason why I started knitting, was because I wanted to make clothes that I felt comfortable in. And I really like things that are drapey and loose. And so that's really what pulled me into the knitting, was that shirt. And now I'm getting to use the yarn on a camisole. And then my husband's hat. The yarn's over there. You guys know what it looks like. It's in past podcasts. It's from Hartley's Hand Dyed. I don't think it had a colorway name. And I got it from the Smoky Mountain Spinnery in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. I got that for my husband's hat. I think I'm going to make a muscle burr. I know I've talked a million times about the kind of hat I'm going to make with that. I've been scared to make the muscle burr. I've heard From most people, I've heard it's a great pattern, but I've heard a couple of people say that the gauge is wonky for them. And I really want to finish it before he goes on his trip. But if I don't just sit down and try it, then it's never going to get done. So I'm just going to try it. So my socks, my husband's hat, my son's traveling blanket, the temperature blanket, and the camisole maybe. I might put the camisole on hold until I'm done with the hat. These are all things that I would like to work on and make progress on this week. I have been, for some reason, stressing myself out about finishing projects. And over this last week, I've come to realize, like, I'm not on a time crunch. I'm making these things for me and my family and my friends, and I don't need to rush. I don't need to be stressed out. I don't have a timeline for anything. I can just, the other day I picked up a project because I was like, well, I've got to get this done. I need to work on this. And while I was in the middle of it, I was like, I'm not even enjoying this. And it was a project that I typically enjoyed working on. And I was like, I'm just going to put it down until I feel like I'm going to enjoy it, until I feel like doing it, because I'm not on a time crunch. I'm not making this on a deadline. But anyway, I think that is all I had to talk about this week. So for the Four Pearls is one of the shops in the Orange Blossom Yarn Crawl. I believe it's Four Pearls. She sells yarn. Knit and Stitch Boutique. There's two more, I believe. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I'll put the Orange Blossom Yarn Crawl information down below. If you are planning on attending the Orange Blossom Yarn Crawl, please let me know in the comments below. It would be fun meeting people in real life that I see on the internet, since I don't have any people in my life outside of the internet that knit or crochets. So that would be cool to meet some people. I will talk to you guys next week. I hope you have a great weekend. Bye.